Hey Warhawks, my name is Eric Compass. I'm a professor in the Geography, Geology, and Environmental Science department. And today we're going to talk a little bit about these bike repair stations. All right, let's start with how you'd mount the bike. Most of you are going to use your seat tube, and so that's going to fit right in between these two posts. That allows you to make, when you're pumping up your tire, again, there's a Schrader or Presta valves. That's the Presta. There's two different holes here. The Presta's on the small one, the Schrader's on the bigger one. So I've got a Presta, so I'm going to put that on there, and then this lever is going to lift up to tighten that. So kind of the opposite of what you'd expect. So I'm going to put that on, lift it up, and then pump like you normally would to fill up that tire. All right, the main thing this station is for is like kind of emergency repairs to get you home. So don't think this is going to be something where you like completely overhaul your bike. And so we're going to go through each of these tools and talk about how you would use them in order to get your bike working again so you can get home and go to a bike some other time to get like the full repair. And the first tool that we'll talk about is a tire iron. And so there are two of them on here, and this is like a lever that allows you to go underneath your tire. And when it doesn't work when it's full, but when it's flat, you're going to dig that in there and you're going to pry the tire out. You get one going, and then you take another one, and you get two, and then you kind of work it, and you can get all the way around the tire and get the tire off. You pull the tube out, repair the tube, put it back in, and then getting bike tires on, you also use this to catch the edge of the tire, catch the edge of the rim, and then rotate it in order to get the tire back on. And that's probably going to be one of the most common things you're going to run across, but you would have to have a bike repair kit in order to do that. There is a few things that you might run across if you get like a hole in the side of your tire, a little bit of tear in the sidewall. Some people put duct tape or even like a dollar bill that you can put in there, and that will work, again, kind of temporarily in order to get you home. All right, next tool. This is probably going to be the most common thing that you use after the tire iron. This is an Allen set, and it's got all different sizes. And this would be if you had, let's say your brakes were loose and you need to tighten up your brakes. At most brakes, so let's look up here, have the brake cable that's coming from your handlebars. And let's say if I squeeze that and all of a sudden this cable loosens and your brakes aren't working, is that there's usually a nut, and it's almost always an Allen key, that allows you to tighten that. And so what I would do is I'd find the right size, pull this cable tight, and tighten that bolt. And then your brakes would work again, and again it would get you home. And notice that there's a lot of places, like that's another Allen key, that's another Allen key, there's another one there. So if my brake pads were loose, or if this was starting to fall off, and again, you're probably just tightening it and making sure that it doesn't fall apart while you ride home. So this is one of the most useful tools that you're going to use. So like up on my handlebars, this is the stem for my bike, and that's going to tighten that down. The other end of the stem here at the top of your fork, that is also a way to tighten and loosen that. So if for some reason my handlebars weren't lined up with my tire, usually not a good thing. Again, I could loosen the top of my stem, realign that, and tighten that. All right, let's see what else we got. This big wrench. This one, hopefully, you're not going to need. But it will do a couple of things. The smaller end is for your pedals. So I've got these special bike clips. Most of you will have platform pedals, but this will work on either one. And that goes right there. And it's big because these tend to lock up and get pretty tight. And so you're probably not needing to take that off. But again, if it was loose, you could use this to tighten it. The thing about your pedals is that one of them is reverse threaded. And honestly, I don't remember which right now. So check the threads on that. One of them is not righty-tighty, lefty-loosey. It's the opposite of that. The other end, and this wouldn't work on my bike, but some bikes at the top of the fork has a big nut here, and that was set up in order for you to tighten that. And that's pretty common to have a loose headset here. So if that was loose and your whole handlebars are wobbling a little bit, that would allow you to tighten that. Last tool, screwdriver. There are a few older bikes that still use these older types of screws, and you've seen what a Phillips head looks like. So if you see that, this is the right tool that you need. All right, let's talk about these last set of tools. We've got another Allen key here. This is a little bit smaller, and it's usually used to adjust your derailleurs down here. And again, if you're probably having to do that, you probably need to go to a bike shop. And so I'd suggest, if you don't know what you're doing, probably not to mess with the derailleurs. Often you can just set it to a gear and use that gear until you get home. We've got some kind of standard tools that you've seen. So wrenches. I have what's called a quick release on the back tire in order to take the wheel off. So if I needed to take this wheel off and replace the tube in there because I had a flat, and I had the older style bikes, I'd need one of these wrenches in order to loosen that bolt in order to take the rear wheel off. There's also some of these are kind of called cone wrenches, and again, something you hopefully don't have to mess with. But if you look at the hub of your tire, your wheel, there's a little bolt that allows your wheel to spin freely. And if that bolt gets loose, your whole wheel could wobble, and those bearings could actually fall out. And so these cone wrenches is the tool you use to tighten that bolt. And hopefully that would never happen, but if you run across that, then you've got the tool for that. Let's see, we've got a regular flathead screwdriver. Again, most modern bikes don't need that, and I think you would recognize a bolt that needed a screwdriver if you have an older style that still needs that. Between that tool set, that should be able to get some basic repairs and get you home and get you a bike shop to do the full thing. So good luck. Hopefully that's helpful. So thanks so much for biking on campus and doing the sustainable thing and using our repair stations when you need it. Enjoy.